Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. So if you couldn't tell by that title, you couldn't tell by that thumbnail, today we were talking about all the books I read in December of 2023. Guys, I seriously cannot believe that we are in 2024 now. Like, where did 2023 go? Like, y'all, it went by so fast. Like, 2023 really had somewhere to be, but now we're doing 2024 and we have so rude for someone, that's my thing, but yeah, we have some exciting reads for 2024. There's a bunch of new releases coming out, but yeah, if you didn't watch my end of the year TBR, first go watch that. But a lot of these books I actually did kind of stick to it. So for December, my main focus was to finish series that I had started either in 2022 or 2023. And then also I really wanted to try to actually read Christmas books for the holiday season, because last year I planned to read Christmas books and didn't touch not one Christmas book. So I did a lot of Christmas books this month also. Some were novellas, because you know, around the holidays sometimes you just want like a quick novella. But for the month of December, I read a total of 15 books, and I think 3 or 4 of them, no, 5 were like novellas. So hence probably why I got through so many. Also had some time off work around the holidays, so I was able to read a little bit more. But yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the books I read and what I rated them. Okay, I'm really hoping my camera does not die. I have my other battery charging, but you know, I could have sworn I charged this battery, but for some reason I guess it just didn't work out. But okay, so we're gonna actually, I'm looking at my Goodreads. Oh, I forgot a book. No, I didn't. Okay, no, I thought I forgot a book for a second. Okay, let's focus on the series first, and then we will go into the Christmas books I read. So these are in no particular order. They're honestly just in the stack of how they were sitting on my cart. So yes, the first book though I have is The Ballot of Never After, and this is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I did want to read A Curse of True Love, and I actually did start it. I only got like 2 chapters in, but while I was home for the holidays, I did not read nowhere near as much as I planned to read. I was supposed to knock that out, and I was supposed to knock out Ruthless Vows, and it did not happen. I'm currently reading Ruthless Vows now, and so the next book I'm hoping to read is A Curse of True Love. But I did end up reading The Ballad of Never After, and guys, I love this book. I see what so many people are talking about now when they say like Once Upon a Broken Heart was good, but like The Ballad of Never After gave us everything we needed to just like solidify like our love for this world. And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this so much, but it gives so like, it gives seriously like fairy tale vibes, and it's just like so good. I will say, which I actually made like a short and a TikTok about this, I am still not a fan of Evangeline. Like, I like her enough to like continue the series and to like figure out like what else she's gonna do, but you guys, her like delusion is like, oh my gosh, like it is insane. And sometimes I just want to grab her by her throat and be like, girl, act normal, like get some common sense, because y'all, sometimes I'm like, I'm just like, it is not, I promise you, Evangeline, the world is not like that. And yeah, but Jax, still, I love Jax. I don't hate how it ended, but it did break my heart, and it did make me immediately want to pick up A Curse for True Love. So like I said, I did pick it up. I only got 2 chapters in, but hopefully I will end up picking, like I said, I will end up picking it up this month and finishing that series, and we'll knock another series off our list. But I gave this one, I think I gave it 5 stars actually. I gave it 5 stars. I was said, pretty sure I gave it 5 stars, but yes, highly recommend it. Going into this one is so worth it. Like, I gave Once Upon a Broken Heart 4 stars, so guys, I cannot recommend this trilogy enough, especially if you just want like a just fairy tale-esque, like pretty easy vibes, like not just like, it's just an easy read. It's like so easy to comprehend and just like kind of go along with it. And yeah, that's what it is. Bad Blood, and this is the 4th and final installment of the Natural series. So the Natural series is like it's a YA like mystery series, I guess. Yeah. And it kind of focuses on like serial killers, and basically these 4 kids, they have, not 4 kids, but these kids, they have these abilities to read people, and so they end up getting enrolled into an FBI program that focuses on serial killer cold cases. And so each book we go through a different like case that the Naturals are like working on. And so I gotta say, I think this one was probably my favorite, because it just, from the very first book, I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but from the very first book, there is this one question that like never gets answered, and we finally get so much of that in Bad Blood. And I promise you guys, it is not this thick. This copy just comes with the novella at the end. So there is like a little novella at the end called 12, and I actually did read that one also, and I did count it as another book because it was like 100 pages. But yes, and I gave both of these 4, well, I gave Bad Blood 4.5, and I gave 12 4 stars. And 12 just goes into like, it like fast forwards after they're after they've grown up, and you just kind of get to see where all the characters are, and if they're still like involved with the FBI, and if they're still like using their powers and stuff. So yeah, I really like this. It gives Criminal Minds, and I just think it's so good. It's just like a really good YA series, and it just like grips you from the very first book. And I cannot say enough good things about this book. I freaking love this series, and whenever I need just like a little pick-me-up, I can definitely see myself picking up that series again. Next I have After the Storm, and guys, so I pretty much binged this series. Like, I think I read this series within a total of 3 months, and this is the 5th and final installment of the Cotton Cove world. And this was about the oldest brother, and it was a single dad romance, or single dad trope. And guys, I hate to say it, but I was kind of let down by this one. I went into this one with really high expectations, especially knowing how much I love the other ones in this series, like just going through all the siblings. But it just did not deliver like I thought it was. I did end up giving it a 3.75. I do like, and 3.75 is not bad. Like, it was just like, okay, it was good. I wouldn't reread it, but I would recommend it. But yeah, and I hate to like compare it to other books, but like other like small town single dad tropes that I've read, I just like, I went into this one with such high expectations, just from also like her previous books that I've read in this series, and it was just, something was off. It was just so, I feel like it was just their conversations, like the single dad and then the love interest. Their conversations were just like, it seemed like they weren't authentic almost. It was kind of like, who just kind of bursts into these kind of conversations that quick. And I understand, like, you have people who, like, you know, they've known each other for so long, and like you can just bring up a conversation, but like, I don't know, it was just, it didn't flow. Like, the conversations when they came up just didn't flow. So that's what made me like drop it to a 3.75. And honestly, when I'm thinking about it, I'm probably thinking more like a 3.5. But yeah, I mean, I do recommend this series. It's not going to be your top series out there, but it is a really good series to kind of just like, you know, just kind of gives you a little taste of like small town world when you need it. Like when you just need like a good palate cleanser, I recommend that series. Probably my top book of the month, which I actually talked about this one in my top 23 books for 2023 because I finished this one at the beginning of December. But I finally finished Aitar. Well, I finally finished this, like I'm caught up to what everything is that is released. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tongue tied. I caught up with the I read all the books that are released for Aitar. There we go. But the last book so far was A Quarter Silver Flames, and this focuses on Cassian and Nesta's point of view. And guys, I ate this up. I did not go into this book thinking I would love it this much. I knew it was from Nesta's point of view, and I knew that Cassian was like her love interest. But y'all, this book ate down. I see it where people can be like, okay, like Reese doesn't seem all as good as he was, but like I think people have to remember we are seeing this from Nesta's point of view, and we're seeing it from Cassian's, but mainly Nesta's. And you know, a lot of her and Rhysand did not really get along, so like he kind of, I can see why people think like he's the villain, because like to Nesta he is the villain. But y'all, I still love Rhysand and Feyre. I love seeing their relationship from others' point of view, like how they're perceived by others, because in the past books we were only seeing it from Feyre's and Rhysand's point of view. But I think I said this in the last video, y'all, as much as I love Rhysand, Cassian has taken a #1 spot. The #1 spot. I don't know what Sarah J Maas put in this book, but Cassian, y'all, that man is amazing. I am a Cassian stan. I am a Cassian lover. And so yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of Nesta because like, girl, what? Like, so this book was like a 6-star book read for me. This was one of my 6-star books, and I seriously love the Aitar world so much. I do plan to go back and like annotate like all the books, but we're gonna talk about that another day because I'm not putting it on my list right now to do. But it is something I do want to do later down the line. I do want to go back and restart the entire series and fully annotate it, because yeah, it's that series. The last like series that we finished for 2023 was the Twisted series. So I finished Twisted Lies by Anna Wang, and if y'all don't know, so last month I literally read Twisted Hate in less than 24 hours. It was like the book that I thought I was gonna least like, and it ate down, y'all. I binged that book. I did not expect to love Josh and Jules that much, and I think because it was like kind of enemies to lovers, which is also like one of my favorite tropes in the world. And so it was chef's kiss. So I went into this one like with super high expectations. I was like, you know, this is, I love Twisted Hate. I mean, I've loved all the books, but I was like, you know, I think I had kind of just got out of the world for a while, so like it was kind of hard to get back into it. But I think I was so ready to like hear Stella's story, because throughout the books, I mean, Stella is mentioned, she's one of the friends, but she is very much the introverted, standoffish friend. She stays to herself, and I don't know, we just really didn't get to know much about her. So in this book we got to know a lot about her past and why she is the way she is. And then we also end up meeting Christian, which we actually meet Christian in Twisted Games because he is one of Reese's friends. But yeah, we get to see them, how they interact, and this is a fake dating trope. And so yeah, I freaking love it. I love Christian, I love Stella, and yeah, it honestly, I know they say like I know they call it Twisted Lies, and honestly I can't be mad. I'm not mad at Christian. Like, it's just who he is. Like, what he did is just who he is. And I don't know, if it was, I can't say I wouldn't be, well, let me not say I wouldn't be mad, because I feel like if it was done to me, then I probably would feel some kind of way. So I can't like say that, but like I will say, I forgive him. I forgave him quicker than what Stella forgave him. That's what I can say. But I think I gave this one 4.5 stars, or did I give it 5 stars? when did I read this? Okay, I gave it 4 stars. This is what I gave it 4 stars. And I think I kind of stick to that. Like, it wasn't a 5-star read. I ended up giving Twisted Hate 5 stars because how fast I read it, there was no other reason it could not get 5 stars. But yeah, 4 stars for this one. And now I am excited to jump into the King of Sin series. So the first one is King of Greed. Yeah, King of Greed. So I will be hopping into that one hopefully sometime this month or next month. Of course, my battery died like I said it was going to, but it died at the perfect time after we finished talking about all the series. So I just had to put a new battery in. But I lost my train of thought that quick. Oh, okay, so yeah, those were all the series. We ended with Twisted Lies, and so now we're gonna go into the Christmas books I read. And I'm gonna go with the ones I read on my Kindle first. And I'll make sure to put the cover here for you guys. First one was New Year's Day by Monica Murphy. And this was the holiday novella for the Lancaster Prep series. And guys, I loved it. It was so good. It was just perfect because it tied everything together. We just got why do I feel like I've said this before? Like, I feel like I've said this exact line, but I'm just like, where did, I feel like I filmed this video, and I'm like, I haven't filmed this. Where did I talk about this book at? Did I talk about it in a recent video? I don't know. I just feel like I've said this, but I absolutely loved it. It was like the perfect, just happy, it just closed everything together. We got introduced to all the kids. We got introduced, well, yeah, that's what we got introduced in. And then we just got to see all the couples. We got to see each Lancaster's point of view from where they're at now, and it was just beautiful. I loved it. It gave the perfect holiday vibes. It gave the perfect Lancaster vibes, and yeah, I mean, it was just swoon worthy writing. That's what I can say about it. So it makes me so excited to jump into the next book, which is going to be a Lancaster spin-off, which is going to focus on all the kids. And you guys already know I will be reading it. And so I did end up giving it 4 stars. I don't think a novella really couldn't get 5 stars, so that's why I got 4 stars. There wasn't much to really go off on, but like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I will say they got some trouble on their hand with those kids, so I am excited to see what their kids are going to put them through. But then the next Kindle read I read was Same Time Next Year by Tessa Bailey, and this was also a little holiday novella. It was only 130 something pages, but it was really good. It's a fake marriage hockey romance, and I did not know what I was getting into when I read this. I didn't know what this book, I went in completely blind. And yeah, when I started reading and I realized it was hockey, I was very surprised. I was like, oh, I don't think Tessa Bailey has read anything hockey. I don't think. So this is if this is her first hockey thing, she did really good. It wasn't a lot of hockey talk, but the main male character was a hockey player, and so this player, he is in the US on a visa, and his visa status is about to expire, and so he plays for not the NHL, but what's the one but between college and NHL, where it's kind of D, they call it D League, I think that's what they call it, but essentially to help him get to the NHL. And so he's finally starting to get scouted by NHL teams, and it's gonna ruin it if he has to go back to Canada. And so in order to stay in the US, he ends up fake marrying one of his teammates' sisters, and he's actually always had a crush on this girl. Since the moment he met her, he has always wanted her, but she is not the relationship type of person. She actually is does not believe in relationships, just from past trauma with her family. And so it takes some convincing to get her to agree to fake marry him, but the plan is to essentially fake the marriage. They're going to get married, and enough to pass the interview, and then a year later, so New Year's Eve the next year, they will get divorced. So they call it an expirationship, but over time you just get to see her constantly he's already fell for her. There's no more falling he could do. And so you just get to see the process of her letting her guard down and like really starting to see that like she's having feelings for this guy. And yeah, it was just so cute. Like, I think, you know, it wasn't too much, and like for a 130-page like romance, like you're not gonna get a lot of details, so it just kind of broke it up. It just gave like every 3 months you would get like an update of where they were at and like how their relationship has changed. So I think it was perfect if you don't want like a super long like hockey romance where like you're getting like all these side conversations and stuff. Like, you just kind of want to get to the point and just touch on the high like points of the story. This is perfect. And so I absolutely loved it. I love Tessa Bailey's writing, and I gave it 4 stars. So highly recommend it, especially if you're just looking for just a little short story and a little spice. You know, definitely gave spice. And so yeah, Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn, and this was my first Megan Quinn book, and it makes me ready to dive into more of her books. I like have a few of her books and I keep saying I'm gonna read them, and so after finally reading this little novella, I'm like, okay, I love her writing, let's get into it. So this one is once again a Christmas all these are Christmas books, of course, but it's basically about a girl and a guy, and they dated in the past, and the main female character, she ended up having to go, well, she wanted to go to college out of the city, well, out of their town and into the city. So she wanted to go to New York, and her boyfriend did not want to, so they ended up breaking up. But it turns out it was like a pretty nasty breakup. So years later, she finally moves back to her hometown, and there is so much like nervousness just about running into him. Same on his end, he's nervous about running into her, and they both, I guess they both are not fans of Christmas, and they have their reasons. Like, they both used to be fans of Christmas, but now they're not. And so their mailman actually ends up like, they kind of end up becoming like, I don't know what you would call it, but they're writing letters to each other, but they don't know who they're writing letters to. But the mailman does, because the guy wrote a letter that no one was supposed to see. He threw it away, but then the mailman got it out the trash and like gave it to her. I guess he read it. So yeah, it was like essentially they were just trading letters, and they didn't know who they were writing these letters to, but they were talking about their dislike for Christmas and all things Christmas time, like the eggnog and the songs and the kids, all of that. And yeah, eventually they find out, well, you know, they decide to finally meet up and meet each other. And yeah, so very short, very to the point. Once, like I said, it was just very high level. You know, you touched on their letters, and you just get to see it happen. Turns out everything was planned by the grandmother and the mailman, and it was just so freaking cute. I gave it 3 stars. Like I said, it was just, you know, a little feel-good novella. It's The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score, and y'all already know I love Lucy Score's writing, so I was not surprised when I fell in love with this book. But I gave this 4 stars, and I don't even know what I said, but it's called The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. And so it is about like a home reno show that wants to come and help this town restore their Christmas spirit, because they just ended up with a really bad hurricane. And so like they don't see, like they're basically like planning like to not have Christmas, like, but the town is really big on Christmas decorations and stuff. And so yeah, you have the main female character is like the host of this reno show, and she wants to come into town and she wants to help, but the mayor of the town is just like not having it. He doesn't want these people trampling through his town and, you know, basically broadcasting what these people are going through. Like, this is a devastating event. Obviously people lost things, their houses are ruined, and so yeah, he like just has such a disdain for this show, and she's just like, please let me help you. So it finally works out to where she ends up coming into the town to help, and this guy, the main male character, is just like kind of like just a grump, and he does not really have the, like I said, he's mad that she's there. For some reason she just makes his blood boil, and he is just not gonna give her an easy time. But eventually they end up having to work together, and you just kind of get to see things change. And, you know, of course, you know, it ends in a little cute little romance. So cannot cannot ruin it for you guys, but I highly recommend it. Also, this is the second book in like a duology. The first book is Mr. Fixer-Upper, which I do plan to go back to read, because that one focuses on the brother of the Reno host in this one, and you also get to see his relationship where it is now in this book. So super excited to dive in to that one. Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. And this one, y'all, I think, okay, I remember on my I think my last book haul, I talked about this book and I was so stuck on it. Said she's meant to be catching flights, not catching feelings. And so I really like this book, but reading that, I definitely went into it with like different expectations. Like, I don't really know what I went to it thinking, but it was not what I got. But I still did thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm trying to look to see what I rated it. I gave it 3.75 stars. And it was just like, it was a rom-com. It was a really cute rom-com, and it's about Molly and I was gonna say what their names, but Molly and Andrew are from the same country, and they live in the US, but every year they end up going home to their home country, which I think is Ireland. Yeah, it's Ireland. And they end up taking the same flight, and so you go over like 7 or 10 years of them constantly taking the same flight together to make it home for the holidays. And you get to see how their friendship grows, and you know, just how things change even like between their flights, them both going through different relationships and stuff. And so the current flight that they're on, which is their like 10th flight, they go through hell and high water to finally make it home. And you just kind of get to see how Molly is starting to like question what she's feeling for Andrew, and if it's just, you know, they've been spending so much time together trying to like get home, or you know, she's just like in total denial. And so yeah, you kind of get to see how all that happens. And yeah, like I said, it was just a really cute little rom-com, not anything, you know, like you have to read, but it was really good. I think it was really good for the holiday season. This is literally probably my favorite one, but it's Baggage Claim by Juliana Smith. I gave this one a 4.5, which is my highest Christmas read rating, looking at my like Goodreads. And y'all, when I say I love this one so much. Also, going back to Holiday Romance, which made me think, the guy is like super Christmassy, and the girl, she is just not, her family just like, she doesn't have anything against Christmas, but her family just doesn't really do Christmas. And so also like while they're like trying to get home, he's like hell-bent on like trying to like get her to fall in love with Christmas. So that, and that, why I thought about that is because this book is kind of like the same. The main female character, which her name is Olive, she is going home for the first time in, oh gosh, I think it's 2 or 3 years. And the reason it's been so long is because a tragic event happened at home, and she has kind of avoided one particular person in her family. And so her parents have come to visit her, her brother has come to visit her, like she has not been home. And so on the plane ride home, she's nervous, she already doesn't like flights, and you have this golden retriever guy, Finn, who ends up sitting next to her, and he is just like, let me like make you fall in love with Christmas. He's like talkative, and she's just like, I don't want to talk, I just want to sleep on this plane. And she ends up actually telling him everything, that not like why she left home, but ends up telling her why she's going home for the holidays, and how she's nervous, and how her family's just like worried about her. So he's like, okay, well, let me be your fake boyfriend while you're home. And she's just like, no, absolutely not. And then a dinner she has with her family, Finn ends up showing up out of nowhere, and she is just like, what the heck? And he's like, yeah, I'm the boyfriend, and all of that, because she makes an excuse about why her boyfriend can't be there. And so yeah, over this course of like, while he's pretending to be her boyfriend, he's like, give me so many days, I think it's 12 days, to make you fall in love with Christmas. And you just get to see their relationship change. They become friends. She's starting to finally like just get back into the Christmas spirit after the traumatic event. And then of course at the end we find out what happens, and that is all I'm going to say. I don't even want to say who it is, like who did it, because I feel like that's just gonna make it even more, like that's gonna give you guys hints. But y'all, I still hurt for Olive. Like, I cannot believe what that girl went through. And she, like, oh, y'all, it was unforgivable. It was unforgivable what happened to her, and she deserves to be, I mean, no one wants to spend their life angry, but y'all, that was painful. When I read that, I was like, this cannot be. Like, especially once you go back and you read it, you're just like, how? Like, and then, like, there were so many ways it could have been avoided, so many ways, like, that, like, it just could have been handled so differently. And once Finn finds out, y'all, my reaction to what he did, I am so proud of him, because they all deserve to, everybody needs to know about themselves in that moment. And so, if you've not read this, guys, I highly recommend it. It's not a long book. It's also, I believe it's on Kindle Unlimited. And so, please go read this book. Like, I know it's a holiday book, but y'all, go read this book. Because my jaw was to the floor when I finished. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It's the season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. And this was so freaking cute. Let me look at my Goodreads and see. I gave it a 3 stars. And it's all about revenge. So this girl, also, she must have been very delusional, but she ends up, her and her current boyfriend end up breaking up on the day she thinks she's gonna get proposed to. And it is just, well, not on that, well, she thinks she's leading to her proposal. And so she is like, you know, over the moon, and she just gets shocked when he's just like, this is over with. And so she makes a plan to basically get revenge, to show him, not that she doesn't want him back, but just to show him exactly what he missed. And does she do that? And so the guy she ends up actually, like, I guess, having a little fling with to get revenge is actually his boss. And you just get to see how it happens, because the guy, his boss, the one that she's like in a little fling with, both of them like say they don't want relationships. And you just kind of get to see how that all changes. And guys, the guy is so sweet. Like, he is literally the sweetest guy, and just so caring and so understanding. And it just, there's one thing I noticed, like, when you read books where it's like older people, I guess, not even like, they're just not in their young 20s, like, there's just so much more communication. They're like, okay, tell me what you're feeling with your words. And it's just like so refreshing to like see that. Like, obviously it's a book, but it's so refreshing to see, like, oh my gosh, like, this is what maturity looks like. And so I loved it. It was very spicy also. So last 2 books I have are by Maureen Moore, and these are a duology, I guess, but they don't follow the same characters, but they are set in the same town, which is the Strawberry Hollow town. And so you have the mistletoe bit, which these are friends. This is the friends to lovers trope. Also, this is a brother's best friend trope. But the main female character, she also has not come home for a while, and it's her first time coming home, and she's kind of on edge. She doesn't know how everything's gonna go because her parents have been divorced, all of that. There's just a lot of anxiety around it. And so her brother's best friend also was like really one of her close friends, decides to give, like, he says, like, give me dates, like, let you, while you're home, let me convince you to fall back in love with Christmas. And that's what happens. And he also, like, she's always had a crush on him, and you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to go after my brother's best friend, but I really, really like him. And yeah, you just get to see how that works, and how they end up changing, like, well, how everything changes when she has to go back to New York. And you know, just, that's all I'm gonna say about that one. And that one, I gave it 3 stars as well. But then the last one, it was certainly not least, is A Festive Feud. And guys, okay, I gave this one 4 stars. This was the first holiday novella I read, and I ate this up. I ate this up, y'all. This was so good. I did not expect to love this much, and it definitely, I think the fact that I love this one so much pushed me to continue reading holiday novellas over the month, because I feel like if I would have read one that like I didn't like as much, it probably would have been hard for me to continue. But this one, y'all, it pushed me to continue, and so I love it so much. But you have two families. They are rivals for all over a Christmas party, and it's all turns into like a miscommunication thing, but which don't quit on me. I know some people don't like the miscommunication trope, but it's so different. It's not with the main two characters, but the main two, like the main characters, their parents have like not gotten along because they basically throw Christmas parties to see who can throw the best one. It's like a silent rival in a sense, and so their kids, which are the main two characters now, ended up arguing, and they ended up basically doing some damage to a store by mistake, and so the mayor, as like their punishment, is making them throw a joint party together versus having separate parties. And so you go through the process of them trying to throw a party together, and obviously trying to stay true to like trying to honor their family feuds, like not trying to like I guess like you can say like it's kind, you can tell they're kind of getting into each other, but it's almost like a forbidden romance because they want to be loyal to their families, and like not be nice to this person. And yeah, it's just, it's so cute how it all happens, and you just get to see how the families finally like kind of put a rest to their feud, and how the two main characters are just like chef's kiss. So highly recommend this one, and like I said, I think this was the perfect way to start off the Christmas holiday like read, because if I would have read anything else, like I don't think I probably, well, there's a few books in here I'm like, okay, could have been my first one, but super excited that this was my first one. So yeah, you don't have to read this one first. I read this one first and then went back to this one. So yeah, highly recommend this one. Like I said, I gave this one 4 stars and still stick to that rating. Okay, so those are all the books that I read for December. And guys, like I said, it was a really good reading month overall. At the end of the year, my reading goal was 100 books, and I read 133 books. And so I am super proud of myself because I literally just got back into reading the end of 2022. So I am like shocked that I read so much. And so this year I gave myself a goal of 120. I do have a lot of series. I have a lot of thicker books that are on my list, so I feel like it may actually be a challenge to hit 120. But you know, it's not about the number, where as everyone says, not about the number, but hopefully I do meet the 120. But overall, I'm just really looking forward to just enjoying really good books and finally starting a lot of my most anticipated reads in 2024. But yeah, let me know how many books you guys read, and let me know your top book of 2023 or your top book of December. Yes, let's talk about your top book of December, because it can be hard to try to narrow it down for the entire year. But yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.